Joining us, I am the Nicole Johnson of the Wealthy Women Lifestyle, where I teach women to define and achieve their goal of financial freedom so that they can begin to live life on their own terms. And we are in the preparation of the Prosperity Summit. The people that you see are hearing, in case you guys are listening without the video, we are preparing for our Prosperity Summit. And you are going to hear more from these gentlemen that are going to talk about their entrepreneurial journey, why they share their stories, who they are intending to help. And so I wanted to give a prelude of what they are about so that you can look for them during the virtual speaker fair, August 7th through the 9th. All right. So, gentlemen, thank you so much for keeping this conversation going. It is extremely important that the men in the community come together to share with the women of the community so that as we become one in our relationships, our marriages, that we are coming in healthy. We're coming in with a better understanding of not so much as what our designated roles are, but how we manage our household. Because what works in one household may not work in another, and it is okay. So we've had the opportunity to talk about mental health and masculinity, fatherhood and emotional legacy, also mental health for men and entrepreneurship. And this is one of my favorite topics. Don't ask me why. I tell you no lie. Relationships and support systems. Okay. Relationships and support systems. So my question is, what role do your friendships or romantic relationships play in your mental wellness? And can men really open up to each other the way women do? Don't all speak at once now.
I would. I'll go ahead and take a run at it.
Thank you, Curtis.
Absolutely. I would say that men play a huge role, and I think it was who was it? Jay. I think Jay said men need men or something like that, or maybe Brian said that.
That was Brian.
It was Brian, okay, and I love that because I think it's important because I think each of us as men, we need dignity. Dignity is important for us, not necessarily a pride thing or ego anything, but remaining intact, so to speak. And I think that a lot of times there's certain conversations that we probably just don't need to have with our spouses. At least that's just my take on it. I think that in relationships, a lot of times women come with an idea of who men should be, and in most cases, according to how their fathers were or their lack thereof. And then when men show up to have certain conversations with them, I think it's for those reasons that they cannot understand that or even put it together, and so for us as men, we end up bearing our souls, and it was not meant for them. And so from one man to another man, we help to keep each other intact because we can relate to each other. And that my brother knows that I'm not here to harm him, to hurt him, or to look down on him. In most cases, I may have dealt with the same thing that he's done, but coming from a different angle. So I think that's if that makes any sense. So.
That does.
Excellent.
I like that. For me, to answer your question, it's a two-part. But number one, I'll say being here, you're away from family and you have to make friends in all these different places you go. I have been blessed to make a group of friends here that are guys that when we're hurting, legit hurt, we can cry together. Right. And we have. And it's helped us get through that situation, where there was someone dealing with something with their marriage, where there was someone dealing with something at work that was very painful, or family member issue that in that moment, only frustration and anger with tears can come out. And we made it okay. Because we made it okay, the next moment was better than what it would have been trapped in an alcohol bottle or some kind of antidepressant, or lost in something else mentally and just out there. So we have created that space for each other, and we don't cry because the sky is blue or the roses are pink. It's legit hurt,
Right.
but the space is available. Because of that, we talk through it. So I'm appreciative of that. For me, mental health with my friends, we create is laughter. We laugh at everything. And because we laugh at everything more than we are frustrated at everything, we're able to maneuver through moments. Because for me and these guys, it's all about moments. These are guys you're in the barracks with. I work retail now, so I'm in retail with these guys, from retirees as old as 83 all the way to as young as in their 20s, that were retired from the military because of disabilities and things like that. You work with these guys. You see these guys all the time, and we use laughter. And the joy that we bring is infectious, but it helps us get through tough moments when you can sometimes just laugh about it. And I'm appreciative of that, because mentally that helps me realize that some things are not as serious as I made them. Right. So I can laugh, versus sometimes when it was just me in solitude, I'm angry, I'm upset, I'm mad because of something small that really wasn't a big deal. The laughter is what we use to do that. So we always go to comedy shows all over. We always take trips to all these places, just to break away from the everyday norm of the pressures of life. So that's what we do.
Okay. I guess you have a two-part question. So in regards to having those relationships, whether it be romantic or friendships, I believe they are very pivotal with mental health, especially being in a romantic relationship as a man. Having a woman in your corner that you can be vulnerable with, and that you can really just lay it all out and not get judged and not feel demasculated. It just brings me back, just a biblical reference when Samson was tired. He was laying in Delilah's lap, and she was trying to kill him. And for men, a lot of us, and we would see Delilah as the spirit. You know what I'm saying? This man was really just needed a place to lay his head, and this woman was trying to take him out. So, as men, we need a woman that's not trying to take us out or kill us or kill our energy or kill our spirit or kill our creativeness or kill, what we want to do or what we want to accomplish. But somebody that's willing to give us their time, energy to where we can rest in them and not feel less than. So I feel like that type of relationship is so much needed. And as far as if men can speak to each other as women do, I definitely believe that we can. I definitely believe
if they can open up what women do.
Yeah, as Ernest was saying, he has friends who can, that they can be truthful with, they go out where they can laugh. I believe it's needed, and they can talk to each other and they're not judging. They're not in competition. It ain't no egos. They're just brothers talking and, having that community and having that kinship of recognizing that I understand what you're going through. I've been there, done that. Here's some advice that may have gotten me through this, and they may bounce some things to him, to help him through a particular situation. So yeah, you need that. You definitely need that. So I believe men can, talk amongst each other as women do. Vulnerable as well.
I love it. I love it. I'm on my own journey when it comes to that. Because in a partnership, being able to create that space where he can say, this is me, this is who I am, I'm not the doctor, I'm not the attorney, I'm not the high-powered and president of the company. I'm just me, right? And there was a time when I thought I was an expert at that. He said, "Boo, you need a lot of work then." And so, ladies, we have to look for and then listen for clues, because they may not come right out and say it, but they will drop clues. And we have to be in tune enough to recognize them and then give the space or provide the space or create the space where he can open up. Because it is pivotal, it is crucial to the success of the relationship. So I've learned that the hard way, that when I look back in my marriage, I'm like, oh girl, you was a whole hot mess. It was a hot mess, girl. And I can understand why, because neither of us were healthy. As a matter of fact, when we came together, we were both very unhealthy. And then I went on my health journey and I came out of that space where I was no longer happy. Because to your point, Ernest, I call it our dysfunction became functional and we got content there. Right. When I came to myself, Albertina, okay, we want to go there. I came to myself, Albertina, and I was no longer happy in this I couldn't do it in this space anymore. He was happy and content in this complacency, but I needed more. I needed more. And if I had left then, those children wouldn't have been impacted. I'm going to share something with you because somebody asked me a question. And my response shocked them. But this goes really to the mental health of how we as parents impact and influence our children. So the question was, if you could go back in time, knowing everything that you know now, would you choose the same partner that you had children with? And without hesitation, I said, hell no. No, I would not. And he said, but your children would be different. And here's where it made sense for him. I feel that because I chose, instead of waiting for him to find me, I did my children a disservice because my partner of choice was not the partner I was supposed to be with. Now, God created some beautiful things out of it, but my daughter deserved to know what it's like to grow up in a real two-parent household, a healthy two-parent household. She deserved to know what a true father's love is for a daughter. My son deserved to be raised by a man who poured into him, because I raised a son, I didn't teach him how to be a man. And those things are different.
Yes, they are.
Boys need their father, because as much as I could tell him to pull my chair out, open the door, it's only some things that I can teach him. He needs to learn from his father or from a man. And so knowing what I know, I would not have picked. And if my children were different, because I feel like I raised unhealthy children because I was unhealthy. Okay, so that's where I think when we get into family and support systems, we have to pay attention. And so that's my spiel. That's part of my story where I came from. So I want to move into, does anybody want to say anything behind that before I move on to our next topic?
I do.
Sure.
I think all of us at some point, we can find ourselves having to try and control the narrative. And, we don't sometimes like when things aren't, kind of to what you were saying earlier, women feel their biological clock is just running out and whatever the case might be. And they've got to do something, and they got to do it now. And and even with the story with Samson, I think it was Jay that was sharing the story moments ago. Even the story with Samson's desire was not what God had for him, because I think it was a Philistine or someone that he wasn't even supposed to be dealing with. And so he put himself in a situation where that now the very thing that he's not supposed to touch is trying to destroy him.
It was toxic.
It was absolutely very toxic.
Yes, we were. Oh, you talking about them? Okay, my bad.
Oh. See, Nicole, you are a funny girl. You are too funny, sister.
Listen, when you learn how to overcome what those mountains were, honey, you get to you celebrate them every chance you get.
Yes,
I've been delivered from that affliction.
Yes.
But yes, when you put yourself in places where you don't belong, there are consequences. And so I really believe that, for the ladies who are listening, when we start taking on things, people, responsibilities that we're not supposed to have, it's going to have some negative consequences. And men, that goes for you as well.
Absolutely.
Never put the responsibility on one person, one gender. No, we all have a responsibility, especially if we're trying to come together to make it in this thing called life. Okay. Can you tell I like friends? Okay. All right. Don't. All right. So I want to move into something, and I wasn't going to go here, but I think I am. Okay. I think we got a good enough panel that we can go here. Success does not erase trauma. Sometimes it just covers it with money. How have you dealt with pain behind the scenes of your wins? And then I'm going to bring it to something that's very prevalent in our news.
That's a very interesting question, because I think for me, and some people I know, when you go through so much trauma and hurt, especially for a guy, a win means that out of all that, I made it. And we let that be a launching pad to do more, to where we feel like we don't really need to deal with the trauma, because now we're just winning. It's like a basketball team that's winning, but you got 3 weak players. Eventually, you're going to get to a championship game. I'm a Knicks fan, so I'm just going to go ahead and say that. Eventually, you're going to get to the Indiana Pacers, where no matter how good Karl Anthony Towns is, and no matter how good let me calm down. No matter how good my Knicks were, there's a Halliburton in there that wants to just take you out. And so you can win all you want to win, but Indiana takes you out. And I think that's what we do. We need success to help us understand, in spite of our trauma, we won, but we forget that the trauma is still there. It needs to be dealt with, or the wins we made could make the losses can be worse than our wins. And I think we need to put a pause in our understanding of, as men, that loss could be bigger than your win. It's just water. You just got a brand new, beautiful sailboat in the water, and it looks great. But that same sailboat in the Pacific Ocean with them giant waves don't look good.
Absolutely.
It's gonna tear up.
Well said.
But we gotta understand, you gotta deal with that trauma, because you're not gonna just hurt yourself. It's gonna hurt the people that counted on you when you got that win, because you didn't do it by yourself. And now they gonna hurt. And now they like, why you trusted him? Don't you know what No, we didn't know. And it spirals out of control. So I'm not saying you're not gonna win again, but I'm saying while you're winning, you need to be dealing with that trauma, so that win you get is not defined by your trauma.
Oh,
that's
love that.
Into our trauma. That's why I won, because I went through so much. Don't compare work ethic to going through. I'm gonna just leave that right there. They're not the same thing.
Yes, they're not.
Nicole, can you repeat that question one more
time? No problem. Success does not erase trauma. Sometimes it just covers it with money. How have you dealt with pain behind the scenes of your wins?
How have you dealt with pain behind the scenes of your wins? Wow, that's a great question. Um, and writing my book, and writing my book, like I said, I was dealt with imposter syndrome at once upon a time, and it was the things that the little boy, what Jay, Jacob, what I dealt with back then, like being made fun of, or you being poor, or saying not having the best of everything, um, playing basketball and off brand shoes, you ain't got Nikes, so you're experiencing these things, you know, and then trying to write this book, but the little boy is talking in the book per se,
Mm,
but the little boy
yes,
is making
yes.
decisions. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to the point where understanding, I had to come to a point like, as a child, you thought as a child, spoke as a child. But when you become a man, you put away childish things. And in some aspects, because I noticed, like I said, some people in the news that they put it away, but they found it again. So know where those
Mm-hmm.
always are. Put them away and storing them somewhere. Then you can still unlock it and get to that. But understanding, like, to get those wins and to keep them and to keep your integrity and things of that nature, you can't make decisions from the little boy's perspective.
That's good.
So that's how I dealt with it. Sure that the little boy, was healed. So when I do have these wins, because it said money just makes you more of what you already were or are. So let me work on these things that I want to become. So when I do get these wins, I'm not making these mistakes to where the little boy is taking over the grown man. If that
Yes, it does. One of the things in my community, when we have our different challenges or our workshops, I always have them write a letter to the unhealed person or the child that's still in them, because when we hit that trigger that makes them think about that pain, and when that trigger is hit and that pain comes back and it's like it just happened, because they're crying and it's like, this just happened. That means you haven't healed from it. And with the right trigger, it'll set you off again. And I learned personally that things that I thought I had given up, and I was in a retreat, and most of the people in the audience were women. So there was a man who stepped to the mic and he said, "Close your eyes, because I'm standing in a gap to apologize for every man who failed you." And he started naming labels: your father, your teacher, your grandfather, your uncle. And all these memories started coming back. And I'm like, "Oh, where did it come from? Oh, where did it come from?" And then he said there was a woman who stepped up to the mic and she said, "I'm coming to you as the woman who failed you, whether it was your mother." And she started naming out, and boy, that was when the water gates flowed, right? Because the right trigger set me off. And then I realized that I had not done anything with it other than to suppress it. What I needed to do was release it. And once I really came to that realization and went down and met with the pastor who prayed and prayed, and I hollered and screamed and wailed and tarried, as they say, and I threw every name that I could think of, every job situation, every person that I could think of, all the memories, and I put them on the altar. And then at the end of all of them being placed on the altar, I placed myself on the altar. It was at that point I knew I had released it, and not suppressed it, because when the trigger hits now, there's no reaction.
I love that. I love that. I just want to just say this real quick. In regards to us obtaining success and the things that we face, the pain that we try to heal from, it's, and like seeing a lot of celebrities now in the limelight and stories about things they never really dealt with. I heard somebody saying on this podcast, and it was just so powerful. As men, we know what we're chasing. We know what we're chasing, but we don't know what's chasing us.
Well said, brother. Well
said. That's good.
Yeah, it was so good when I heard that. I was like, it is so true, because we don't deal with the little boy.
Right.
We don't deal with the little, and all those demons and that things we went to, and it's just creeping up on us because we never dealt with it. We know what we're chasing, but we don't know what's chasing us.
Because we're taught so fast to just grow up. When you hear grow up as a kid, becoming an adult so much, Jay's right. You don't even have time to stop and deal with the kid. And so now you're a 36-year-old kid still trying to figure out what it means to grow up, but you've skipped all the stages to grow up. And a lot of that's contributed.
That's where your appetite is with that kid. That's those little things that you wanted as a child. Now you're facing it as this 36-year-old man.
That's why we love Michael Jackson so much. That's why we love him.
Midlife crisis. No, it's not midlife. It's child life.
Well, I was thinking about Michael Jackson, for example. He just didn't have that. He didn't have it. And then we looked at him funny, and but I kind of knew it was something else. And then it came out, of course, that he didn't have a childhood. He didn't. And we penalized him for that. But what if that was us?
Right.
That's still a man that dealt with mental health issues, but nobody would. He just didn't have that help. So Jay's right. That child, that little boy, and sometimes people see it come out, and people that they don't know what to do with it. But we're asking for help in that moment, but they don't know what to do with it. So they say you need to grow up when you're like 30-something years old. We're like, try it.
And I take a little bit step further, because we live in a society where we're so quick to give our opinion. We see something happen, we just, I just right off the bat, we was like, oh, I can't believe he did that, and blah, blah, blah. If I was him, and we're so quick to give our opinion. And like I said, going through this healing process, I want to understand why. Why are they like that? Yeah. Why are they doing what they did? Right. What made him do that? And it it's wrong, but like, what got you to this point? Right. And it's because that little boy or little girl just ain't ever been addressed. The things that whether it's been molestation or they're raped or not, not having a father in your life, whether, it's so many different aspects of why people do what they do.
Right.
And just understanding the why of it. Like, instead of just like,
and a lot of people don't take the time to understand why. Yeah. They just you did this. This is my opinion. But nobody wants to go to the why. What's the reason, so that we can get to a proper solution. Right. So, Curtis, you want to chime in on that?
Okay, I'm going to need that question again.
I'm sorry, Curtis. I'm sorry.
I love the flow of what we have going on. Success doesn't erase trauma. Sometimes it just covers it with money. How have you dealt with pain behind the scenes of your wins?
Yeah, that's a great question. For me, it is been a journey becoming a father. And I like to see that a son, or at least from my perspective, there's a difference between a son and a father. A son can be 46 years old, 56 years old, 30 years old, so on and so forth. But if he has not grown up, I think, during my conversation with you, Nicole, I think I may have shared that with you. But so there's a difference between a son and a father. And I think Jay said when spoke earlier, when I was a son, I or when I was a child, I spoke as a child. When I became an adult, I put away childish things. And so for me, and just working with men, I share with the men that I work with that to Jay's point, actually, to be honest, that until that child is not healed, he's keeps going back to the things. And I think when Brian was on, he said would say to his father, why'd you do it? So I don't know why I did it. You don't have an answer for it. You just did it. And so,
yeah,
but that's the son speaking. Even at 36 years old, even at 42 years old, these certain behaviors. But for the father that comes out, the father matures. And so for me, it has been a journey becoming a father. It's been a process becoming a father. As a kid, I was desiring a father. I grew up without my biological father. It was my mom and my brothers and sisters, but just how God had me wired, I desired to have a father. And so as much as I was looking to have that male role model in my life, the Lord showed me that I would need to become the father that I was looking for.
That's good.
And so that in itself has been a journey. It has been a lot of tears because most people don't, because it's been a relationship, a one-on-one relationship with God, because most people didn't understand that, didn't understand the angle that I was coming from. So a lot of times I put things before God. I had to wait for the answer. I just had to wait. And so that has been the tears, the pain, the hurt, the loneliness, the abandonment, the rejection, all that stuff comes together. It's been all of that. And would I change it for anything? Absolutely not. Absolutely. I'm in a great place, and I love it. I love it. And I would say, I hope I've answered the question. The last thing I would say is that I think it's important for us, this trauma thing that goes on with all of us. Well, we've all come from something. And I think it's important for us to understand that without the healing of the trauma, without being healed and moving past the trauma, it will dampen our successes. It will dampen our wins. It will cover them up so that you could be doing very well for yourself. And as someone looking on the outside says, man, look at Ernest, that brother's doing it. They may not share it with you, but looking from the outside, they said, look at Jay, man, he wrote his book and he's speaking here, speaking there. But for the individual who has not gotten past their trauma,
that's right.
What Jay has spoken, what Ernest has spoken, that child then comes out and ends up ruining his success.
Yes, ruins it.
Because of the trauma that's not healed, or the woman.
Listen, I kid you not. Ernest touched on it a little bit. Jay wrapped up in it a little bit. And Curtis has just walked me right into my next question. I wasn't sure if I was going to delve into this one, but look, Jay, y'all, get ready. Can we talk about Diddy?
Yeah.
Why y'all look at me like that?
It don't bother me.
Can we talk about that trauma and success and how his losses, what's going on right now,
he lost
totally
his way,
overshadowing his wins?
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is not to criticize. This is not to discuss his guilt or innocence. Everybody got their own opinion, right? People are following the facts of the case, the trial, and all of the things. But when I think of this person, this man, having all the money he could make, right? Having been influential over the careers of many, many, many that are still in the industry. And that is this trial, the videos, the people. What happened to Diddy that brought him here? That over the years, all these different things he's done, what brought him here?
Well, it's the same thing that would do it for someone that did not have as much as him, but still a man. So one thing about men, naturally, we do enjoy a spotlight on us. That's what strokes our ego. But some people get to a point where the ego turns into power. Now, I don't know. I don't care who you are. Everyone, sometime in their life that has had some sort of authority, has enjoyed the part that you've had some sort of authority, whether you're humble with it or whether you're out there dominant with it, but you've had some sort of authority. And so for him, just like a lot of other people, when you have authority, you can choose how to use it. You can be responsible with it and take care of people in the right way. You yourself, especially if you have money, you can make sure yourself and others around you get therapy and have conversations and group sessions and things to make sure you're managing everything right. Or you can just think that you're in control. Everything runs through you. You're the powerful one. You're the authoritative one. You make the decisions. And that's why I bring up culture again, because that is the way of the Eastern culture. It is. Whoever has the most money makes the decisions. Everything runs through them. Even if it's a government, it runs through whoever has the money. Especially when I was stationed in Kuwait, there are two brothers that own all of Kuwait. I don't care what your government says. They own all of Kuwait. They own the oil fields. It runs through them. They make the decisions. And so because of that, even though there's a U.S. base there, we can still only do as much business on those three bases based on what those two brothers we had to meet with said. So tell that to say they did not abuse it. That's why Kuwait is doing so well as GDP, number 5 in the world. But I'm going back to what Diddy dealt with. If you abuse it, I think somebody mentioned it already. What's chasing you? What's chasing you is going to catch up, and it's going to overtake you. All the this and that you did, whether it's a video or not, it's going to overtake you. And then bringing it back to our scale, I don't have millions and millions of dollars, but even the things that I do, I got to look behind to make sure I don't have anything chasing me that could overtake me and damage my reputation. I have to, and that's why I tell people going through life fast is the worst thing you could do. Go through life very slow. Go through slow. Take things moment by moment. Learn to pause, learn to reset, review, and then resurface yourself and continue. But you cannot rush through life, because when you rush through life, you're running. You're breaking all these things behind you. Why are you trying to make a gold medal in life? You don't need a gold medal with a rushing record in life.
Right. Yeah.
I used to tell my kids, participating in life is medal enough.
Yes. I used to tell my kids, be a kid as long as you can stay a kid, because once you reach adulthood, there's no going back.
Absolutely.
And that's the trauma I want to jump on too when we talked about with Diddy. A lot of these kids, like when Diddy was a kid, they got this power at a young age. So you have to become adult at a young age, and you're around other adults that are telling you what to do with your money. That's wrong. You go listen to them because you think they know what they're talking about. That spirals out of control. So influence is huge for even our kids, to make sure they're influenced by us that are going to give them positive reinforcement on what to do as they gain their small authoritative statuses, whether it's at job, whether it's at school, whether it's in the community. You got to just, if we would just slow down, we wouldn't end up with a lot of people like Diddy. We would just slow down. We would end up with more people that make better decisions moment by moment. And that's all that happened with Diddy. It went fast. And that's how he got here at 50 years old. It went way too fast.
Yeah. Jay, are you talking? You're muted, sir. Oh, he's not. But
no.
Anybody else ready to chime in on that?
I'd like to chime in definitely on that. I think I think to your question earlier, the thing that happened to Diddy, it's very unfortunate, and I'll be honest with you, and again, this is not condoning different videos are out there because I really don't follow it, to be honest. I don't. But the one that I seen with the woman in the hotel and hall and all that stuff, not condoning any of that. What by any stretch of the imagination, but what happened to Diddy, I believe, is that to what Ernest was saying, it was happening too fast for him. He had a lot of people perhaps ready to take a bite of his success. A lot of people who had other, shown some interest and, they're going to break off a piece of what he was doing. But ultimately, I think what happened with Diddy was what happened to a lot of the childhood stars, unfortunately. He had things done to him. And this was the price, and this was the sacrifice, and I'll say that this is a sacrifice that perhaps someone, a guardian or parents or someone who was aware of something or maybe not aware of what was going on, but that eventually he had to feed it. He had to feed he had to feed this thing that he willingly or unwillingly play part in. He had to feed it, and it got bigger. And when it got bigger, he was getting bigger. He was getting paid for it. And I again, there was a controlling arm. And I kind of liken it to the conversation we were having earlier with regards to men and women going at each other, understanding that this is a system, there's a controlling arm. And so there was, I think ultimately this level of success where Diddy and so many other celebrities are, what we don't know is the price that they're paying for this. And a lot of this stuff is coming out now. And many years ago, my son, when he was much younger, he wanted to be an actor. And I was like, as much as I knew my son could do very well, become an excellent actor. But as a responsible parent, no, absolutely not. I'm not feeding my son to the lions. Absolutely not. With a conscious in my mind. But I think ultimately, just my response is that I think what happened to Diddy is what had happened to him, and he was doing to others.
Yeah. Okay. Jay, you want to chime in on that?
Yeah. I'm like everybody else. Like I said, what's happening is very unfortunate. I think more so like sometimes like your gift will take you some places where your character and your integrity shouldn't be in essence. And with Diddy, I see him as it's kind of like him going to that level of success, kind of like how David began his journey was when he fought Goliath, and
that's good.
He pulled up to the scene and he got put in something that really wasn't his battle at first, but because of who he was, he sticked in and he slayed the giant, and he won on that particular level, and he was praised. Then he had the haters. David has killed his 10,000s, and Saul has killed his thousands, and that being in that level of leadership, and instead of growing up and trying to fit into that role, but you still have these things that you haven't dealt with in the past. And to fast forward to when he was with Bathsheba and he had her husband killed. So he lost on that level. So some things internally that he still hadn't dealt with. And I think
what was in him?
Yeah. And I think in Diddy, he got to a level to where he hadn't dealt with everything that he needed to deal with.
That's
His
good.
father was killed at a young age. He was raised in the hood, not making any excuses whatsoever. But
Right.
that little boy never dealt with those demons. That little boy never dealt with that trauma. That little boy never dealt with that adversity. That little boy never dealt with his perversion and things of that nature.
Yeah.
It get put on forefront. As a child, I spoke as a child. When I became an adult, I put away those childish things. But he still knows where that toy chest was.
Yeah.
And that's
I
what
love
we're seeing now.
I love it. I really
That's
thank
good,
you
Jay. That's
guys
real
for
good.
your input on that. Because one thing that was said earlier, and I just want to bring that point home, is that when we have unhealed trauma, it can eventually leak out to other people. And so that unhealed trauma transferred or poured onto other people who he influenced, whether it was a relationship, whether it was a business partnership, whether it was other people within the industry. The bigger his influence became, the more people he impacted. And that impact, for the most part, was successful careers. But behind the scenes, we're starting to see what that was done in the dark is eventually going to come to the light. And that stuff that happened, as you said, that stuff that was chasing him is now catching up to him. And so, again, this was not to talk about whether it's guilt or innocence. It's really to talk about the trauma that he experienced, because there's plenty of it there. And a lot of what he may have done may have been as the result of what was done to him. And so when that trauma is unhealed, we pour it out on those around us. And so now you got people stepping forward, you got the young ladies who are testifying, the men who are testifying, the artists, all of these people who are saying, this was my experience. This is the trauma that I went through as a result of my relationship with him. And so it is important that men and women, as you date, as you build relationships, whether they're business partnerships, whether they're friendships, the environment of people that you keep around you is critical to your mental health. Because if you, birds of a feather do what? They flock together. So if your circle, your immediate circle and sphere of people that influence you are full of trauma, most likely so will you. You'll be full of trauma too. So I want to thank you guys for that conversation. I really do. And I'm going to ask that I got two, if we can, I want to pull this all in together, right? If there's one myth about Black men and mental health that you could erase forever, what would it be? If there's one myth about Black men and mental health that you could erase forever, what would it be?
That you're not weak when you speak up and admit you have problems. If I could erase anything, that would be the one. That's the one I hear the most. I'm afraid I can't say anything because if I do, I'm seen as a weak man. If I could erase that forever, I would. Then I believe more of us would get the help that we need. If we could just know that you are not weak because you speak. You're not.
Thank you. Curtis?
I would say that success does not mean that we have to sever relationships. I think oftentimes as men, and I think we absolutely desire relationships, much like women, obviously. But we can find ourselves having to dealt with trauma, essentially avoiding relationships and trying to put our head down and just get to the business of being successful or our careers and things of that nature. And I think that it would be that success does not mean that or success is not severing your relationships. It's quite the contrary, to be honest. Your success comes from your relationships.
That's good. That's good. Jay, I'm not fooling with Ernest. Go ahead, Jay.
I would say that being vulnerable is not weakness; it's a strength.
Yes.
That would be the one I would want to erase forever. Being vulnerable is not weak; it's strength. Being able to express yourself is everything. So that would be the one I would want to erase.
I love it. Love it.
Also, real men do cry. What
you say?
That's good.
Real men do cry.
Real
Sure
men
do.
do cry. Okay.
Sure
All
do.
right. I like that. So I'm going to ask.
I cried game 6. I'm sorry. I get off the Knicks. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, some people just cannot get past their trauma, okay?
Sorry.
And he's been a traumatic experience about this game lost over here. I'm gonna need you to go talk to somebody.
I'm with them. I'm with them because we traded Luka Doncic, so I'm still, what I'm saying?
See, you get it. Traumatic.
Yeah.
People need to understand our trauma. Sports is traumatic. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
I ain't into basketball like that, so I don't even know who Luther is. Okay, last question before we bring it on home. What would you say to a brother who's suffering in silence right now and doesn't know where to start?
I grab them. I take them with me. I do this all the time. And I guess I want to caveat that by saying I don't want to sound like I'm ostracizing other people, but I really only hang around people that are trying to go somewhere. So because of that, I know any of these guys, if they're struggling, I can grab them and drive them where we need to go to have this conversation with these helpful people. I just don't, in my life anymore, hang around people that just ain't going. Now, I hope and pray that they find their circle of influence that will get them there. But one thing about me I've learned, that just can't be me.
Right.
I don't have the capacity to bring everybody. I don't want to be Moses leading my people out of Goshen to a land flowing with milk and honey. I ain't got it in me. I only want to deal with this.
You retired your ass? Is that what you're trying to say?
I only want to deal with the folks that God gives me. And they may be hard to, that's cool, but not everybody. Because I used to try to save everybody. I did. I've been there, and you get disappointed.
Absolutely.
You get hurt. You get pieces of you pulled off. I remember my mom says you never need to give people a piece of your mind because you ain't gonna have nothing left. Stop giving folks a piece of your mind. And that's what she kept doing. I gave a piece of me to everybody, and then it broke me into where it was just less of me while they go off and do whatever. And so that on the shirt. That's my what's up? Okay.
I can't give you no more than 5%. Okay,
but yeah, that's what I would do. I would get them where they need to go to start a conversation. Now, will they get healed in the moment? No, but sometimes that moment just breaks them through. And I just want to be available to take them or have a phone call, have a session. Come on, let's talk, let's congregate, let's rally around this brother. And they do the same thing for me too. Don't think they don't, because they will grab me in a second and be like, come on, let's talk, let's go. I know you're feeling something. Let's talk. That helps. That helps. So I guess I'm trying to say and sum it up. Be available to the right people. Not everybody.
That's good.
Okay, gotcha. Jay?
I would say I would kind of do the same thing as Ernest, because I'm at a point now, like, I'm not trying to save everybody, but I am trying to save the ones who do want to be saved. You know,
Yes.
I really do. I seen Taraji P. Henson. There was that she did an interview, and she was like, what fountain are you drinking from? I'm drinking from the fountain of peace.
Mm-hmm.
And going on to say, like, if you're not on your healing journey, I can't fool with you.
Right.
And that's what I really do think. Like, men are suffering in silence. And Ernest said it in a roundabout way. It's just exposure to something new, exposure to see that men do talk, exposure to show you that men do care about other men, exposure to let you see that there is somebody to let you know that you're not alone in this, that you are enough. It's okay to talk. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be in a community around men who are going to tell you the real, and you're not going to feel judged. You're going to feel seen. You know what I'm saying? So I just think bringing men into that exposure to let them know that there are safe spaces and there are other men who are willing to open up their heart so you can open up yours. I think that's the key. Just bringing them in and expose them to, like, there is a place for you to feel seen at.
Excellent. Curtis.
Yeah, I would probably do the same thing as Ernest and Jay have done already, mentioned, is to really just have a conversation, see where their head is at, and just kind of get a vibe, because obviously, for each of us, I'm believing each of us working with men, that there are certain conversations, or at least the tone of a conversation, and when you hear that person speaking, you right away kind of garner some, just, okay, well, this brother sounds like he's trying to get out of something. And you don't necessarily learn that right away. That might take a couple of different conversations. But I think for me, I would definitely take an approach. And I absolutely echo what Ernest and Jay both said. I've been doing this for a while now, and there are some people, a lot of people, that you just can't take with you. And that's just facts. That's just facts. It's just the way it is. Each of us, I'm sure, you have this healing journey. You will pay a healthy price for this.
Right.
You will pay a price. It costs you everything to get to this space. And so for me, I find it difficult to just give it up for just nothing, or to play. There's a scripture in the Bible that talks about do not cast your pearls among swine. And it speaks exactly, I believe, to what all three of us have been saying, because at some point, it's expensive, it's costly, it's timely, it's the investments that we've made. I was watching a video talking about Michael Jordan, many of the other basketball players, how they wake up early in the morning shooting and doing what they need to do to become better versions of themselves, related to their sports, their career. And so all three of us, four of us, and you've been on your journey as well, Nicole, you're doing the same thing. We may not be playing sports to that level, but you're doing the same thing. And so this cost. Right. This costs a lot. And so for me, it's very difficult to just give it up. And so, again, I've just kind of garnered the same thing that Ernest and Jay has been saying, is that I'm not shy about it anymore. I'm not reluctant. I'm not on the fence about it anymore. It is what it is, man. And I'm not shrinking back because I got it, and I'm walking it out, and just, I'm here. I'm here. I deserve to be here. And I think one of the challenges that I found out with a lot of men, and myself at one time in my life, is that we don't know that we deserve to be here.
Right.
We haven't figured that one out yet. But in order to know that you deserve to be here, it may cost an investment. It may cost you to just listen and just, get sick and tired of being sick and tired. Yeah. Ready to change your situation. So I definitely would take their approach, as I said, and I'm learning that as you said moments ago, Nicole, that birds of a feather flock together, and
Yeah.
so I've got to
Yes.
choose my I've had to choose my my audience, and so
Yeah.
more so lately I've been doing TikTok videos. I actually just recently started TikTok, and so my whole language has changed and how I approach things, and so sometimes you have to go up to get it. You know,
Yes.
and I
That's
just
it.
leave
I'm
it at
not
that.
running with you no more. I'm soaring with the eagles.
Yes, come on now,
And
come
I
on.
want you to and
Right.
and for the young lady that's out there who is suffering in silence
Mm,
and and you don't know where to start, what I'm going to tell you, reach out. You need to reach out to me so that I can get you to the right resource. Reach out, right? These gentlemen, I'm going to give you some contact information for them in just a moment. Reach out, because even if I don't have the capacity to be the support system that you need, I won't leave you hanging.
right.
I will send you to someone else who can. And for me, that is what the community is all about. This is why this platform exists. If I can't assist you, I will send you to someone who I know that can. Okay. And so I want to thank you guys for being with us. You're catching us on a replay. You're looking for some more information. All of the gentlemen that have been here on this platform will also be featured speakers at our virtual speaker fair at the Prosperity Summit, which airs August 7th through 9th. I'm really excited about that. That fair, because this is going to be this will be positioned to make global impact. And if I want change to happen in my community, I need to start by being that change. Okay. And so, men, mental health, and why they won't get therapy. There's a lot of content here, a lot of direction, a lot of dispelling of myths. There's a lot of alternative direction for you. And I say this to the men who are listening. We, as Black women in this community, we need you. And women, I'm going to say to you, if you want a healthy man, get in position by becoming a healthy woman.
Mhm.
And if you are not yet on your healing journey and you meet someone who is willing to go on that journey with you, walk together. We are stronger. We are better together. Okay. So, Curtis, and make sure I get this up here. Go and tell the people where they can find you. Okay. Go ahead and tell the people where they can find you.
Okay. Once again, Curtis Brooks, men's life coach. There you have my information on the screen. That actually is, in fact, my YouTube channel. So you can find more of my videos and content that I do on YouTube. You can actually connect with me on LinkedIn. I spend a whole lot of time on LinkedIn. So under the name Curtis Brooks. And let's see here. And you can find me on TikTok. If you happen to be on TikTok, I do more so the same content on TikTok, and trying to connect with men who are dealing with uh, dysfunction, trauma, and things that we need to get right as men. So I'm here to do my part.
Thank you. Jay Mosely. Bro, you good? Bro, you good?
Definitely. Again, my name is Jay Mosely, the creator of You Good Bro. Um, you can find me on Instagram at Jay Speaks Legacy, JAY Speaks Legacy. My website is at the bottom here. As a gift to all who have chimed in and tapped in with us, you can go to my website and get a free 7-day self-care checklist, with it being men's health month. So I thought it would be, just of the essence to give back. So you can definitely just go to my website at www.jmosely.com/checklist, and just put in your name and email. We'll ship that right off to you. And yeah, that's it.
Ernest, all the way in Timbuktu.
Well, it's 1 a.m., but hey, it's all good.
Serving through our military personnel. Listen, Brian left us. He was giving us some time while he's on vacation. His website is at the bottom of the screen. He is your sales coach. Brian will sell ice to an Eskimo, all right, and snow to a polar bear. If it can be sold, he's gonna sell it. So check him out there. And
you want me to say my website? I didn't say it.
you better put your glasses on.
You want me to say mine? I didn't see mine pop up.
Well, you didn't give it to me when I asked you for it.
All right, so my website, everybody, is www.ushersdigitalagency.co, where I do marketing assistance and help for web design, social media, and graphic design and logo design, as well as marketing, coaching, and budgeting. Also, being a part of the military community, I always have to say that suicide is number one among African Americans in the military. We've had a lot of suicides all the way in 2025. They've been devastating. So please call if you ever have a chance, you know somebody that needs help or you need help. 1-800-138-1619. That is suicide prevention. Someone will talk to you in the military community and help you through what you are going through. We need you. We want you to stay here with us. So please call the number.
Amen. Amen. These gentlemen come with a wealth of knowledge. And trust me, if you guys know me, I don't put just anybody in front of my community. So I want to thank you all for being here with me over this 3-part series. That's what it has turned into, gentlemen, a 3-part series where we have covered everything from mental health and masculinity, fatherhood and emotional legacy, mental health and entrepreneurship, relationships and support systems, and all the way through trauma, success, and the mask, and then closing it out with some questions, basically leading you guys, our audience, those that we care about, how to get help if you are experiencing any form of trauma. I am the Nicole Johnson, founder of the Wealthy Women Lifestyle, where I teach women to define and achieve their goal of financial freedom so that they can begin to live life on their own terms. And that looks different from all of you. And that is why I'm the best strategist in the world to help you find your way to your destiny. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll have